People love countdowns. They love to count down towards the weekend. They love to count down at New Year's Eve. They love to count down days towards vacation. I personally love to count down towards the sweet release of death. You guys particularly like countdowns. Some of my most popular videos and my most requested videos. So here's another one. Hey guys, welcome to the Extreme channel. Today we're going to talk about extreme collectibles. We're going to talk about collectibles I haven't bought, collectibles I bought and I haven't received, and collectibles I currently own. We're doing another countdown, but before we dive into it, check this out. On our road to 20,000 subs, we are giving out this Mortal Kombat statue at 12,500 subs. All you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification, and stay tuned for that giveaway. Also make sure you comment on this video. Everyone who comments on a video has a chance to win a monthly prize. Per the recommendation of some viewers, I'm going to do some countdowns. This is actually going to be a 3-part series. If I think of some more, hopefully I'll be able to go longer.
That's what she said.
What we're going to do is we're going to look at some licensed statue companies, the most popular and biggest ones, and then we are going to do a top 10 countdown of their 10 best statues. So today we are going to start with Prime 1 Studios. And then for any YouTubers out there that want to copy this and get less views, I'm also going to do XM Studios, Sideshow, and possibly some more. But today is all about Prime 1 Studios. So before we get into the countdown, a few things I want to cover. First thing I'm going to cover is I am not going to include any pieces that I do not own or have not seen in person. I think seeing a statue in person is much different than seeing renders or even videos or pictures on the internet. I'm also obviously not going to include statues that have not been released. And the cool thing about that is I can actually do this segment again, especially with Prime 1 Studios, because they have countless amazing pieces that have yet to be released. From their Bermejo Joker, to their new Joaquin Phoenix Joker, the Zod and Apostle form, Batman vs. Dragon Joker, their Poison Ivy, Mosasaurus, T-Rex Rotunda, Soundwave, any of their Predators, Pennywise. I could go on and on. But before we go into the top 10, I do want to talk about 5 statues that I don't own, I've never seen in person, but I believe if I own them, they would be in this top 10 countdown. And some of these are older and some of these are newer. So this is in no particular order. I don't want to call these honorable mention, but as I said, these are ones I've not seen in person, but probably would be in Prime 1's top 10 pieces. So the first one I want to look at is this Heath Ledger piece. This is the half scale from Prime 1 Studios. There's certain things about this that I don't love, but everybody who has this thinks it's amazing, and you rarely see it up for sale. So I think that's a good indicator of how amazing it is, especially with the fact that they're coming out with the half-scale Christian Bale Batman. If I was into half scales, I would probably go all out with not only this piece, but the other pieces Prime 1 Studios has in half scale, as well as Queen Studios and everything they're coming out with. Another oldie but goodie I believe is probably in the top 10 is their Grimlock. So this is Grimlock from, I believe it was the Age of Extinction movie, and one reason I've never bought this, I've actually had some opportunities to get this a little bit above retail, is it just doesn't scale well with the other pieces. Granted, it would have to be huge, even as big as me, to scale correctly, but for those reasons I passed, but I believe this is probably an amazing piece. Also along the Transformers line, this piece I am getting in, so it may be in the top 10 someday. But Shockwave, I think the presence in power of this, just how big it is and how it's going to be a cool centerpiece, especially next to Jet Power Optimus Prime, definitely would make this worthy top 10. But again, I can't judge it because I have not seen it in person. This next one, I was not a fan of at all. And now all of a sudden, everybody and their mom has it and it looks beautiful. This is the Dark Knight Returns Batman. I think this looks awesome. I have the older version and I like that quite well, and I thought I liked that even better, but I don't know anymore. Seeing some of these pictures, this piece just blows me away. So congrats to everyone who has it. I don't have any plans to get it, but this may be a top 10 Prime 1 Studios piece. Now the last piece we're going to round up with is their Guts Berserker armor. I have one other Guts piece, and I'm looking at some other Berserker pieces, but I think this looks great. I never purchased this because shipping was always really expensive, and everyone I know who got it had broken parts. So I didn't want to risk it, and at the time, it just made sense for me to get out because I had another Guts, but it looks phenomenal. Alright, so now we're down to the top 10, and these are all pieces I own. I have owned some Prime 1 pieces that I no longer own anymore. They are not in the list because I don't own them anymore because I don't think they're top 10. I wouldn't sell a piece if it was top 10 unless I got a crap load of money for it. Now, one interesting thing, Prime 1 is really known for their 1/3 scale DC pieces, and there's quite a few of them on this list. However, they traditionally don't hold their value, and I don't know why. I know DC pieces compared to Marvel don't hold as much value usually, but for some reason you can always get them near retail, with some exceptions of some of the pieces that are going to be on this list. And some of their other pieces, for example Transformer pieces, always seem to sell way more than retail. And there are some guiding factors behind that, like the popularity of Transformers worldwide and things of that nature, if you really wanted to dive deep into it, which maybe someday we will on a video. But for now, let's start with the top 10. So these are pieces I own. First one is one of their G.I. Joe pieces. I think their Storm Shadow is amazing. I only have the regular version. I didn't really care for the exclusive head anyway. This is, I think, one of the few pieces that still goes above retail. I know I always get offers to buy mine. If I got rid of my G.I. Joe collection, it would be all or nothing. So I would get rid of them all. I'd probably sell them all in a bundle. But I think this is really well done. I love every part of it, and ironically, he's not my favorite G.I. Joe they've done. My favorite is probably their Serpentor, which is actually, you can see parts of it in this video. But I love this Storm Shadow. I think it's really well done on every level. I'm not a big fan of translucent skin, but they did it here, and it works really well. Really awesome, awesome piece. Number 9 is going to surprise some people. It actually surprised me. I didn't think this would be on the list at all, and I don't like the character, but I love the statue. This is my recently reviewed Galvatron from Age of Extinction. Such a poor character. I'm not a fan of what they did in the movies at all. I'm not a fan of this movie at all, but I love this piece. The detail is tremendous, and he commands so much presence, and ironically, I like him better than their Revenge of Fallen Megatron, which really surprised me. Of course, I'm a much bigger fan of Megatron himself because I enjoyed especially the first movie in this series, the Transformers Michael Bay series. But this Megatron is really well done. I have him in a dark room, which doesn't complement him very well, but the detail, the presence, he is just awesome. Number 8, I'm showing stock photos because I actually have him at my office and I'm filming this on the weekend. But this is Guts Berserker 1/4 scale. He's actually closer to a 1/3 scale with the base and his swords. However, the scale is accurate. I'm not into the Berserker, but I'm a big fan of the Gem Mint collectibles channel, and he is reading through those right now. So I'm really tempted to get into them, but I'm afraid I'll buy more statues from the line. I do really, really want the Zod in Nosferatu form, but this is the bloody version of this piece. They only made 150. I had to buy it directly from Prime 1. This is way, years ago, but I love it. I love bloody statues. I love the detail. The guts, no pun intended, is just a phenomenal statue. Number 7, I am also showing stock photos because it's also at my office. This is their Venom. Prime 1 hasn't done a lot of Marvel pieces. They haven't got the license for it, and I wish they would do more. I love this take on Venom. I go back and forth whether this is the best Venom out there. I love the fact it's so different. I love the size. I love, the spiders crawling around the side of it. It's very creature-esque, as you guys know in my Venom reviews. This is a showstopper when it's in a room. It really is. I think they did a phenomenal job. A lot of portraits. I think the one thing missing out on this is they could have done a transformation portrait. Number 6, I think, will surprise people. It's an oldie but goodie, and this is one you can get less than retail. But even though I'm not a fan of the video game, I think their Batman Beyond is phenomenal. I love this piece, and this is one of those pieces that when you see in person, it's not only 2 times better, it's 10 times better. It's just striking. I have the traditional colors. I love how it looks. I do have the exclusive, which is just a small Batarang, which isn't an exclusive or bust, but I think it adds to it. I really, really like this guy. He is definitely one of my favorite Batmans, despite no ties to the video game. I think they have done a phenomenal job with this piece, and I like him displayed with his faceplate and without his faceplate as well. So a statue's good when you have to choose between different display options. Number 5 is maybe the biggest statue I own, and some of you instantly know what it is then. This is Prime 1 Studios Doomsday. Now the thing about this piece, it is too big. However, it's not scaled big enough. That's the ironic thing. I actually have him next to Prime 1 Superman Hush. And the funny thing is that I think the scale, I think Doomsday is too small, but I wouldn't want him any bigger. But they just did an awesome job with this piece. I hate how much room he takes up. I'm not a huge fan of the pose when you're putting him against other figures, unless you have an entire room just for 1/3 DC pieces, which is actually something I'm doing in the near future. But really, really cool piece. Love both portraits with the exclusive. Well done, Prime 1 Studios. This next piece is also a DC villain, and at one time I said this is the best licensed piece ever made. For those of you that follow the channel, you know that this is Prime 1 Mr. Freeze. This is incredible. I love everything they did with this. Some more space issues just like the Doomsday, and I think that downgrades it a little bit. This is not an exclusive or bust, although the exclusive is cool. The detail on this is impeccable. The concept is awesome. It really captures Mr. Freeze. I love a piece like this. Like I said, I wish it didn't take up so much room. I bought the XE Batman suit just to pair with this, and the XE Batman isn't on this list. However, it's one of the few Batmans I've kept because it pairs so well with this. And huge props to Prime 1 Studios. Some minute details in here that just really put this over the top of an already amazing piece. Actually a tie. It's between two different pieces. One of them I think might be this high because it's new, but it is my newly acquired Batman Who Laughs. I think Prime 1 Studios really outdid themselves on this. It is a phenomenal piece. Like I said, what I love about this in the review, it could be a standalone piece as well. It doesn't have to necessarily go with other DC pieces, and sometimes that's kind of hard to do. But the detail, the savagery, the nastiness is just so, so cool. And tied with him at number 3 is my Hush Superman. You guys have seen this on a lot of videos. Again, it's the best Superman ever made. He has the biggest package of any Superman ever made, which that's not why he's best, or is it? But I love the anatomy, I love the paint, I love the presence. What I like about this is it's a comic-based Superman with their own twist, so there's some realism in it. I think that's a perfect match. 2 more to go, and this was pretty difficult. Because especially number 1, I don't have as many ties to the character. Number 2, it could be all about size. Why Jet Power Optimus Prime is the second best statue Prime 1 Studios has ever made. You know, they were able to retail this at $3,000 and it's still sold out. And I think that speaks to a lot. Not only because of the price, but the size. A lot of people don't have room to display this. I think it was near 100 pieces. There are just so many things that say that this statue shouldn't sell, and it does. And when you have it and you look at it in person, it just blows you away. It's a centerpiece of any collection, whether Transformers or no. I think they did a phenomenal job with the accurateness of this. It just makes you love Optimus Prime, and especially when you consider this was only 5 minutes of the movie. I think actually 3 minutes of the movie. And they were able to make an amazing statue out of it that people desperately want. The number 1 Prime Studios statue is more about the statue. It's more about the art, the concept of it, the direction, and especially the paint and sculpt. But in my opinion, even though this is my least favorite version of the character, I think the Prime 1 Studios Alien Dog Maquette in the 1/3 scale is the best statue they have ever made. I think it just blows me away every single time I look at it. Like I said, I really wish it was a different type of alien, a different type of xenomorph, but wow, it is just wow. It's really like a museum piece. I honestly feel like if you were walking through a museum dedicated to, you know, movies or horror or something like that, you would stop and see this piece and it would just blow you away. I think it's amazing that you can actually own something like that in your home. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with their Predator and other alien potential line. They teased some other alien stuff and actually shown some other alien stuff, but well done, Prime 1 Studios. Definitely my number 1 piece from Prime 1 Studios. So as I said, we are actually doing an XM Studios countdown next. I'm actually filming it right after this, and then I have my sideshow list as well. But let me know in the comments if I missed something in the top 10. Let me know what your top 10 would be, or at least your top 1 or 2. That would be really cool to see. But I really appreciate you guys watching. If you're interested in some of those other countdown videos, you can check them out here, or you can subscribe to the channel for more content like this by clicking on that Mr. X logo. Thanks so much, guys. I will talk to you tomorrow.